There are finally signs of a major turning point in the fight against inflation tonight, after Canada's central bank became the first in the G7 today to cut rates. Wearing pins in support of Canada's top hockey team heading to the Stanley Cup final, the Bank of Canada's number one and number two gave Canadians another reason to celebrate today, saying if the bank continues to track closer to its 2% inflation goal, it's reasonable to expect further rate cuts. CTV's Adrian Ghobrial on the first drop in years and what it might mean for your mortgage.
16 months of soaring interest rates have pushed many Canadians to the brink.
I got caught up in the variable interest rate nightmare where it kept on going up and up and up.
The Bank of Canada signaling today that we may have finally started our descent from the painful peak.
The Governing Council decided monetary policy no longer needs to be as restrictive and lowered the policy rate by 25 basis points.
Which brings the Bank of Canada's key interest rate to 4.75, down from 5%, where it had been sitting since July of last year. The bank began raising rates in March of 2022, following larger than expected inflation numbers. The central bank is now predicting a soft landing for the economy, while also keeping a cap on inflation.
Our various measures of underlying inflation, since the start of the year, they've all been moving in the right direction. It is reasonable to expect further cuts in our policy rate.
For millions of Canadians facing mortgage renewal, the rate cuts simply can't come fast enough.
My mortgage is unfortunately up for renewal on July 17th of this year. I'm looking at possibly having to sell my house because of the payments.
For each decrease of 25 basis points, floating variable rate mortgage holders can expect to save around $15 for every $100,000 on their mortgage. Historically, banks are quick to bump their prime rate higher in tandem with the Bank of Canada. They've been less eager to do so on the way down, though when rates were lowered 4 years ago, the banks followed within a day.
If you're on a variable rate mortgage, I think you will see your rate come down quite quickly. I think the banks and credit unions and other lenders will react to this.
Governor Tiff Macklem is clear to point out that when it comes to future rate decisions, they'll be made one meeting at a time. The central bank's next interest rate announcement is set for July 24th. Adrian Ghobrial, CTV News, Toronto.